Hey, what is going on internet? Josh Noel from SonduckFilm. So we have a great tutorial today. We're going to be creating a mountain landscape in Illustrator and animating it inside of After Effects. And it's really basic, but I've been watching a lot of awesome animations from this one YouTuber, which I will not pronounce the name of so well. I think it's Kurzgesagt. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but I've been watching a lot of his animations. He does a lot of cool, I guess, informative videos about, the world and the universe and health and blah blah blah, but it's great stuff. And I've really been watching his animations, and I wanted to do a tutorial on a couple of them because they are pretty good. So this is kind of where I got the idea from. But anyway, let's go ahead and show you guys how we can do this, how we can use Illustrator to set this up properly and animate it inside of After Effects. So here we are, Illustrator. Let's go ahead and go up to File, New, and this will create us a new document. And we want to make it 1920 by 1080, assuming that's what your frame size of your video is going to be. And we'll click Create. And we start off with a blank document, no worries. And what we're going to do is, maybe the first thing we'll do is we'll go and grab the rectangle tool, and let's just draw a rectangle out just like this from border to border, from left to right. And let's set the color to probably a blue color, maybe a little bit darker. Okay, so we have our first element in here. Let's start thinking about layering, which is over here on the right. And let's go ahead and double click the layer here and call it river. And let's go down here to create a new layer button, and let's call this new layer grass. And layering is very important just because we can bring this into After Effects and it will be automatically broken up. So what I want to start this off with is creating maybe some grass. And what I'm going to do is grab the pencil tool, which is right over here on the left side here. What you want to do when you have it selected, maybe double click it and make sure the fidelity is all the way to smooth, which is this little slider right here. And that should be fine, and click OK. Then hold down your left finger on your mouse and start drawing up and down to create some grass blades. And this is a great method if it's not precise, but it saves a lot of time, and you're creating some randomness. And if you go too fast though, it can be kind of wavy. So try to take it nice and slow like I am, and just go all the way across, and this will save you pretty much a lot of time if you want some like random design. And as you can see, maybe some of them are like, some of these grass blades are kind of smaller than the others, and some are pretty large. So just keep that in mind. All right, and then when you're done, just hit V on your keyboard to go to the selection tool over here. And as you can see, we kind of have this nice little outline here, some grass. So what we're gonna do is make sure this is selected, and we need to kind of finish this up. So make sure this is selected and hit P on your keyboard to bring up the pen tool, which is over here. And let's kind of zoom in over here. And if you hold down Alt and you click this point over here, like this, like the last point over here, it'll automatically connect it. And if say we go straight down, click a point down there, and go all the way across to the other side of our grass, hold down Shift to draw a straight line, and then just come here and patch it up. Then we kind of have this entire grass field here completely ready to go. And then we go to over here to the fill, and we can change this color to like maybe a dark green and disable the stroke. And then now we have our grass going across, and that's all pretty cool. And then maybe what we can do is grab the rectangle tool and kind of like let this snap in here and go all the way across to create more sort of a land feel here. So, and then maybe what we can do is go up to the Pathfinder. If you don't see the Pathfinder, go up to Window, Pathfinder, and we can add these shapes together. And of course it's not 100% perfect, but I think this is a great way to create some grass and save some time. And of course, maybe snap this in place right here. And if we want, we can double click the color here and maybe change the color of the grass to, create some variation there. And then now we can start really creating some mountains here. And we won't use the the pencil tool. We'll use the polygon tool. And if we just double click here, we can set the number of sides to 3 instead of, I think it would be set at 5. So make sure that's set at 3 and then click OK. And then there's our first polygon. If you hit V on your keyboard, and then you grab the the corner here and you hold down Alt and Shift on your keyboard, you'll expand your polygon, your triangle out perfectly. And now maybe what we can do is go up to the top and maybe change the color of it. Then make sure the triangle is selected and squish it in just by a little bit. And then we can copy this and go up to Edit, Paste in Place. Remember the keyboard shortcut for paste in place. And we can just hold down Shift, move it over, and now we kind of have two perfect sort of mountains there. And maybe we can make this one a little bit smaller, bring it down, and we can go across our entire document like this and create a nice perfect mountain range. And of course, if you this is like you need to make these a little bit bigger, make sure everything's selected and just make it bigger like this. And then of course you just go all the way across and you finished up the document. All right, so I hope you guys don't mind. I just kind of went ahead and finished this up. So of course you want to go back over here to layering, and we want to create a new layer, and we need to call this one mountain 1 maybe, and open the grass layer, and we want to find our range of mountains and then put it under the mountain layer. So now if we just hide that, obviously the mountains will be hidden. If we just hide the grass, that'll be hidden, and we need to put the mountain layer underneath our grass layer. And let's just position our mountains to be, right there. That should be fine for us. And then of course we want to add maybe 2 more layers over here, and we'll call this one mountain 2, and this other layer mountain. And then obviously from here we want to add 2 more sets of mountain ranges. So we'll come here, polygon it, and then of course change the color of it. And then of course, like always, we have to copy this, paste this over, and we want to continue to create some variations in our next set of mountain range, which should be larger than our first set. So I have finished up my next set of mountain range, and this time what I want to do is grab the rectangle tool and then create sort of like a base, kind of like this at the bottom here. So if you want to group this entire range together, so if you just click it, as you can see, everything pops up. What you want to do is make sure everything that you want to group together is selected right now, and go up to Object and Group. So now if I select one of these objects, everything will pop up that's grouped together. So that makes it easier to be organized. But let's go ahead and just position like mountain 2 underneath mountain 3 here. And, there's our next set of, mountain range. And then we want to, of course, do this for mountain range 3. So I hope you guys don't mind. I'm just going to go ahead and just copy the next mountain range over here just to save some time. And all I did was some triangles just because now I can just put this underneath mountain 2. And obviously just position this to where it would fit in, and that's absolutely no problem at all. So basically, as you guys can see, you just use triangles to create some mountains, kind of like this, and it's a pretty effective workflow. So let's go ahead and continue to move forward here. Let's go ahead and create a new layer, and we'll put this underneath everything, and we'll call this layer background, or BG for background. And I'll grab the rectangle tool, and maybe this time we'll lock all of our layers over here, and come over here and just draw out like a big rectangle to fill up the entire document. And let's set the color to sort of like a light, gray like this. And that will kind of be our sky. You could do light blue or whatever, but I'm just gonna do light gray because this is inspired by that video I showed you guys at the beginning. But let's continue to move forward with this. Maybe now we can add some, I don't know, what do you guys want? Some clouds? Let's add some clouds. And let's go and grab the rounded rectangle tool. And this time we'll set the color to a pure white at the top here. And actually make sure the background's not selected here. Make sure you just click off of it, and then there we have it. And then what we can do is just grab, just draw out like a rectangle cloud like this. And then we can grab like these little circle things here, hold it down and bring it in. And as you see, it kind of turns into like a pill. So that's pretty cool. So now we can maybe resize this. And what we need to do is create a new layer over here and call this one clouds. And this is very important. Make sure that this is separated. And there we have it. Put this at the top. And then from here, we just copy this and paste it. And then, of course, what we need to do is just go around here, just pasting all these clouds and trying to really fill up our environment to create a lot of detail. But let's go ahead and create some unique clouds. So let's go ahead and maybe just copy this, paste this in here, and just paste another one of this size. Maybe put this one over here and paste it once more, and maybe make this one a little bit smaller in, I guess, width, but a little bit larger in height. And maybe move this one over like this. And then maybe we can select these 3 clouds here and go to the Pathfinder and add them together. And uniquely, it's a little, I guess it's like a unique cloud, like more like a cloud bundle or whatever certain cloud that would be. Okay, so here we have all of our clouds here. Let's go ahead and put it underneath our mountain layers so it kind of blends in there. And then let's create the sun, and that's pretty much the easiest element to create. Just grab the ellipse tool and click a point and hold down Alt and Shift on your keyboard to draw out a perfect circle, kind of like this. So then go ahead and set the color of your sun to, yellow. And that's a pretty good yellow color right there, obviously. So let's set that back to yellow. Okay, and then let's make sure we have a new layer for the sun. And call this one sun. And of course, I should be creating these layers ahead of time, but, I don't like to think ahead. And let's go ahead and put the sun on top of everything, and maybe put the sun right here. And then let's go ahead and copy it and paste it in place, and then make this one a little bit larger, and go to the opacity and set this down to like 20%. So now we kind of have like the, I guess, some sort of glowing aspect of the sun. And actually, maybe we will put this underneath our mountain ranges, because I think that would make sense. And of course, make sure the sun layer is underneath our cloud layer, so the clouds will go over our sun. Let's go ahead and work on the river down here. I'm not sure if I have a lot of room down here, so what we're gonna do is maybe unlock all of our mountains and also the grass layer, and maybe lock everything else. Just make sure we can just select everything like the grass and mountains here, and maybe we can just push it down a little bit and maybe raise it up to like right here. And then maybe we can grab our river layer, unlock that, and push that up to over here. So now we have a little bit more room for our river. So let's zoom in here and let's create some rocks. So like before, we're gonna grab the polygon tool, and we'll just draw out like a rectangle like this, and set the color to maybe a light gray, kind of like that. And now we can start creating some rocks in here. So maybe we can copy it, paste it in place, move it over, make it maybe a little bit smaller, and put it right here. So let's go ahead and select both these rocks and stretch them out widthwise, just to kind of create them a little bit wider. And maybe we can change the color of one of these to be a little bit darker. So let's go here, maybe copy them, paste them in place, move them over here, maybe change the size of it. Okay, so now that I have my stream over here, I just put the opacity down to 43%. And now we're basically ready to go to After Effects and start animating this. So just make sure everything is appropriately in their own layers so it can import into After Effects correctly. And then go up to File, Save, and we'll call this one Mountain Landscape 2, just for me. And then click OK. And then hop over to After Effects if you want to animate this. Okay, so you need to grab your project file from Illustrator, bring it into After Effects, and make sure to set the import kind to composition, and click OK. And then double click this layer that you bring up here, and there's all your stuff right here inside of After Effects. So we need to do some setting up. So if we want to animate, say, the stream and the clouds to go by repeatedly, obviously that's a little bit of a problem, because if we animate the stream here, obviously there's nothing behind it. So we need to improvise here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the stream layer and the clouds layer, and we're going to duplicate them by hitting Command D or Control D on a PC. And we'll hit P on our keyboard to bring up position, and we'll just bring these over here to the side. So like kind of connect it right over here. And then let's go ahead and duplicate it one more time and hit P on your keyboard, and we'll zoom out here and just position it up to be right over here. So now let's go ahead and go up to Layer, New, Null Object. And let's grab all of our stream layers and our cloud layers and parent it to the null object by using the pick whip. Go to the null object, hit P on your keyboard, add a keyframe for position, move forward to like, the end of your animation. I'll just say 8 seconds in my case. And we can hold down Shift and animate the X position here. And you see this will go across, no problem. So boom, now we just created our animation, our endless animation here. And now we can start animating the other elements in this piece. So let's go ahead and just keep things simple. Let's go and just recolor code, some of these so we can kind of see what we've done. So to start animating this, let's grab our stream layers, our rock layer, and our river layer. Let's go to the beginning of our timeline, hit P on our keyboard, add a keyframe by clicking the stopwatch, bring these keyframes over to like 1 second-ish, and then grab the Y position and just drag these down kind of like this to where they are off screen. So now they'll come on kind of just like that. And then make the last keyframes easy as keyframes by hitting F9 on your keyboard. So they'll kind of slow down as they come in. And let me zoom in here just a little bit. Okay, so then let's grab the grass layer, hit P on our keyboard, bring that keyframe forward in time, and bring that down kind of like this. And then make sure the grass layer is underneath our river layer. And that should be fine. And we might need to re-layer some of these. So let's grab our mountains and put them underneath our grass layer as well. And grab the clouds and put that underneath there. And also the sun. Okay, just a little bit of relayering, but no big deal. And then, of course, make the last keyframe for the grass layer an easy as keyframe by hitting F9. Then grab the mountain 1, hit P on your keyboard, bring a position, and we'll just animate these on kind of like, you know, as they're coming on one by one. And mountain 2, same thing. Okay, so we take a look here. And of course, make sure the last keyframes of all these layers here are easy as keyframes. And then what we need to do to make sure this all works is go to the first keyframe of the grass layer, drag the endpoint in so it comes on right there. And then we'll go to each of these mountain layers and make sure they start right when the first keyframe begins. Okay, so far so good. And then let's go grab the cloud layers, hit P on your keyboard, bring up position, click the stopwatch to add a keyframe, move those keyframes forward in time, and we'll just drag these cloud layers down and make sure that they start on at the first keyframe and make the last keyframes easy as F9. And then let's grab the sun layer, and this time we'll just drop this one down. And there you have it. Make the last keyframe an easy as keyframe. So we basically have animated our entire scene, and it looks pretty cool. So go ahead and enable motion blur for all of your layers right over here, and then enable it at the top here. And then of course you should be able to render this out and you should be ready to go. And if you followed this tutorial, this is what you should have created, or something very similar. I hope you guys created your kind of your own style to it. But this is the main principle of how you can create a mountain landscape or any sort of landscape in this, I guess in this matter. So if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please be sure to check out my social media networks. Those links in the description of this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day.